Yo, what's going on, E7 fam? I'm Sue, and in this video, I want to talk about my personal teams for the new Otherworldly hunt. And I'm saying my personal teams for two specific reasons. First off, these are my personal teams, not necessarily the most efficient ones. I'm sure as time goes on, people will come up with a more efficient lineup than me. I'm currently using 7 characters to clear all 5 hunts. Eventually, I have no doubt in my mind that people will get it down to just 4 or 5. These are just the ones that I'm using, and I've kind of figured out over the last couple hours as I'm recording this video. And number 2, it's my way of letting you out there, the viewers, know that this is an end game player guide, not a beginner guide like I normally do for new content. And the reason for this is because Otherworldly hunts are 99.9% exactly the same as the Hell difficulty in most cases. The only real change is that there is no first wave of trash mobs. It's the exact same boss fight with the same mechanics that you've already been fighting for years at this point. And as such, almost all of my beginner hunt guides here on the channel, they still work. So if you want to check those out because you're just trying to get into the new hunt mode as fast as possible, use those guides. There's not really anything in them that's not going to work here, right? Your Secret teams, your Brig teams, right? They're still going to work. Your Sarmia teams, they're still going to work. What does not work is a lot of the one-shot compositions in the past, because those were meticulously set up in such a way that the speed tuning or like having certain skills available at certain times, that's not going to really work anymore. Not having the trash mobs means that characters like Seaside Bologna, they might not really even work for you anymore. So that's why I decided to redo all of my speed farming teams and then just kind of present them here to you all in a video format. Again, these are just my solutions. I know that Tristan Wolf has different solutions than I do. He uses characters like Green Lilibet and Challenger Dominion. So if my solutions don't work, you can go and check out his channel and see what he is cooking with. Again, I use 7 characters to farm all 5 hunts lightning fast. I value having the speed in case I need to get my dailies done, or I'm just trying to burn through hundreds of leaves very, very quickly, right? And I want to make sure it's on the least amount of characters used as possible, so that way I don't have to spread out my actual gear as thin as possible. I want to keep as much of it for things like PvP as I possibly can. I'm going to let you guys know now. Every single one of my teams uses Moonlight 5 stars, and one of them even uses a limited character. So if that's not for you, I'm sorry, but again, that's just how it is. Most of my teams use the Moonlight 5-star hero Straze, by the way. If not all of them, I would say at this point. There are some replacements, and I will point those out for the hunts. Like, for example, you don't necessarily have to use, like, Straze for my Golem team. You could use somebody like Soul Bad Guy or Sarmia, and we'll point those out whenever possible. But again, this video is not really meant to be new player friendly. It is just, here's an exhibition of speed farming teams that I have come up with for the new content. Anyways, use the timestamps down below to jump to whichever hunt you want to learn about first. Let's start by talking about Otherworldly Wyvern. For a team, in order to succeed to one-shot this, you're going to want an attack buffer. In my case, it is Conqueror Aurelius. A defense breaker. In my case, it is Red Ken, because when he is with Conqueror Aurelius, it is a guaranteed unresistible defense break, which reduces variance. Some kind of supplemental damage dealer, in which case it's going to be Watcher Shuri for me. And then Straze is going to be our main damage dealer. You could play things like Sinful Angelica over Conqueror Aurelius. You could play like Blue Corinne or any other number of defense breakers in the spot of Ken. You could play as your main damage dealer Sigret, for example, on Rage Set. And then her supplemental would have to be something like, say, Blue Corinne, or like even like a Surin. Something that just gives a ton of debuffs, so that way she could kind of kill it in one hit with Guillotine. Anyways, let's take a look at how they are built, starting with Conqueror Aurelius. So this is a fresh Conqueror Aurelius, no Mullagora investment needed. Very, very simple build. You want attack percentage on your artifact somehow, so either Super Duper Water Gun Shooter, Card of Small Miracles, Warhorn. Anything that gives attack percentage to the entire team, that is what you want to be playing here. After that, you want to be over 240 speed, and then hopefully just enough bulk to not die to the Wyvern or whatever hunt. Some hunts may require you to have like 70-ish% effectiveness, but that's pretty much it. No Mullagora investment needed whatsoever. Just level 60, fully awoken, attack percentage artifact decent bulk, maybe some effectiveness over 240 speed. Defense breaker is going to be Red Ken. The main reason that we're choosing him over any other defense breaker is because Celestial Kick, his defense break, is guaranteed to land as long as he has Vigor. So as long as Conqueror Elias goes ahead of him and uses her S3, his S2, which is what the AI is programmed to attack with first, is a guaranteed defense break. And then you have his exclusive equipment, which triggers a dual attack from the ally with the highest attack. So you are guaranteed to get bonus damage out of your primary carry that way. As for the artifact, Daydream Joker just makes the most sense. It's the best hunt artifact in the entire game. And then as for how you have it built, just slower than Lilius, but faster than your supplemental and primary damage dealers. And make sure that he just has crit chance and some damage on it. I basically went to managed equipment, went to recommended equipment, hit recommended settings, changed this to destruction, this to penetration, just hit confirm, and boom. That was basically it. Nothing really else to say. You might not even need damage on the character. It's going to depend entirely on how strong your primary and supplemental damage dealers are. Next up is Watcher Shuri, and unlike one-shots of the past, you do not need him on speed imprint, so feel free to use his self-imprint if you want, because speed tuning is just kind of thrown out the window at this point. Only things that matter on Watcher Shuri: have finishing shot, completely Mulligored, Daydream Joker is the artifact, and then you want to have him on crit damage, attack percentage, and attack percentage as his 3 main right side pieces. And you really would ideally want him on Rage Set with Torrent as your 2-piece offset. But Rage Set crit will work, or like Destruction Torrent will work if you have incredible damage on the character. You usually want about 3,600 attack and like 320 to 330 critical damage. If you can get that or better, then that is pretty much where you need to be. He's just straight up all damage. Speed, honestly, doesn't even really matter. He can be slower than Straze, and it will still work out. And then finally is Straze, who I really think you should play on Rage Torrent. I think it is like way harder to play him on any other combination of gear. Like if you go like Rage Crit, you're looking at like 5,100 attack, 330 crit damage. It's very difficult in order to do without Torrent set. So I would recommend Rage Torrent. You want Daydream Joker here as the artifact, crit damage on the necklace, attack percentage on the ring, and boots are going to be attack percentage. You don't need like crazy good gear. You kind of just need to hit like 4,800 attack and like 300 crit damage, and you're probably good to go. His speed does not matter. Speed tuning is just out the window on this because we don't really care. We don't need things to line up like we did with Wyvern because of speed buffs and stuff in the past. So if you need him base speed, go base speed. But yeah, Rage Torrent, as much damage as you can possibly get on the character, and make sure that you have Star Extinction fully Mulligored. Anyways, now that you know the team, let's see how an actual run plays out.
Do not fear death. Seizing victory is seizing the future. I won't fall.
Try and dodge this! Eternal rest for all.
Let's end this and see who falls.
Next up is Golem, and honestly, this one's pretty easy. I'm playing an attack buffer, in this case Conqueror Elias, a defense breaker, in this case Red Ken, a primary damage dealer, in this case Straze, and then there is a slot here for a supplemental damage dealer, a secondary one. I don't need it. Your mileage may vary based on your gear. Basically, attack buffer, defense breaker, 2 strong single target DPS. So you can play Straze as a DPS, you can play Sirmia as a DPS, you can play Soul Bad Guy if you have him as a DPS, you can play Watcher Shuri as a DPS. Honestly, a whole slew of things end up working out here for the primary damage dealer. Again, you're just going to want to have a strong attack buffer and defense breaker. I'm using Ken because he is guaranteed to defense break, and as long as I'm playing with Conqueror Elias, so that's why these are the 2 characters. It minimizes RNG, minimizes variance, make sure that there's no wasted time. You can use something like Sinful Angelica and a different defense breaker if you so choose. But again, this is the no RNG version of the fight, so that's why I decided to go with this. I'm not going to explain why characters are built the way that they are. I've already done that in the Wyvern section of the video. Instead, I will quickly just show you the stats here along with the artifact. And if you want the explanations on why things are built the way that they are, then you can go and check that out in the previous section. And you can see a Daydream Joker here. And then lastly, Straze, who is exactly the same as he was in the Wyvern section. Daydream Joker artifact with Rage Torrent. Anyways, now that you've seen the stats, let's just jump into it.
Do not fear death. Seizing victory is seizing the future. Can you even reach me?
I'll knock you into next week. Destiny cannot escape my sword.
Next up is going to be Banshee, which is one of the most popular hunts and also one of the easiest hunts. In order to succeed on this one, you're going to want to have a DPS that can also give attack buff to your entire team. Vivian's free to play and the one I'm going to be playing, so I think most people should probably end up using her. Then you're going to want to have some way to amplify your damage, whether that's through things like Target, Defense Break, or in my case, Magic Nail, since it has no RNG off of Blue Chloe. And I know people will probably not want to build Blue Chloe because they're like, oh, it's a 5-star, I don't want to mull Agora, etc., etc. We'll get to that in a second. And then the last slot, you just want a powerful damage dealer. Again, in my case, it's Straze, but there's so many other ones that you could play in this slot. You could play Urvalin. You could play Biken. You could play Mighty Scout. You could play Green Lilibet. There are so many DPS that you could play in this spot. Basically, as long as you have like Defense Break, Target, Magic Nail on the Banshee, if the character can do 75% of the Banshee's max health in one hit or take an extra turn and the total damage of their 2 turns is over 75%, then you are going to be good to go. As for how we're building the characters, Vivian is pretty much bog standard how she's always been. Over 200 speed, over 3000 attack, over 280 critical hit damage on the speed set. Daydream Joker here is going to end up being your artifact, and you want mana amplification as the exclusive equipment. And then obviously you're going to want to have maybe not the S1 but the S2, Thunder God's Cry. Having this mullet out will help with some incidental chip damage. Next is going to be Chloe, and as you can see here, Chloe for me only has +3 in Hyper Strike, and that's fine because we don't even use this. We're only playing her for Magic Bolt, which is a guaranteed debuff which will trigger the rage set. It is unresistible, and it basically is an extra Daydream Joker proc on all of your attacks once it lands, so it's super, super good. After that, you want Daydream Joker as the artifact. The exclusive equipment here, it's just for the stats. It honestly doesn't even really matter which one you're on. Just get whichever one has the most attack that you have. And then just crit damage, necklace, attack percentage, ring, and then attack percentage boots. Honestly, really simple build. Just throw whatever spare DPS gear you have on her, kind of laying around. If you have imprints to give your team attack percentage, you could play that as well, but all of mine are in Maid Chloe. And then Straze, we've already talked about a ton here in this video, but here he is once again in case you missed him. Check the other sections if you want to hear my explanation on why he is built the way that he is built. And with that out of the way, let's jump right in and see a Banshee run.
Forbidden spell. Destroy all.
Try me.
How dare you?
Eternal rest for all.
The fourth hunt is going to be Azimanak. This one is pretty simple, but also somewhat restrictive. So, you're going to need an attack buffer. In my case, it is Conquer Elias because I just don't want to move gear or waste gear like I talked about. But literally any attack buffer works here. You could play like Charles, Closer Charles. You could play DN. Like, honestly, it doesn't matter. As long as it puts attack buff on your entire team, just play that character in the front slot. After that, you're going to want to have some kind of AoE damage dealer that can destroy the eggs from Azimanak and are going ahead of your 2 primary damage dealers. In my case, it's going to be Vildred because this S3 kills both of the eggs, but you could play like Red Mercedes or whatever have you. Any AoE character that can just one-tap the eggs, that's what you want to be playing in this slot. And then after that, you're going to need 2 primary damage dealers that are going to need to be able to kill without a defense break. So that's most likely just going to be Straze and Watcher Shuri, which is what I'm playing, but you could probably play Watcher Shuri, and maybe there's another single target DPS out there that ends up working. I don't know, maybe like Fene or something. I'm not really sure. I've always played Straze, Watcher Shuri for Azimanak, but I can tell you that other than these 2 guys, it's just an AoE character and an attack buffer. So, you've already seen Conquerorless in other sections, and I've already explained why she is the way that she is in other sections, so make sure you check out the Wyvern section of the video if you're curious on why she's built the way she is. The same applies here for Watcher Shuri for the same reasons. Check out his stats and artifacts and why I'm playing what I'm playing on him in the Wyvern section. Straze is basically the same as he's been for all these sections. Again, I explain it at the beginning of the video. The only thing that's different here is going to be Vildred. You can play Daydream Joker here, or whatever damage increasing artifact that you actually want. And then you just want as much damage as possible. Torrent would also be super, super helpful. Doesn't necessarily need to be Rage. Like Destruction Torrent ends up working out, but Destruction Crit could also do fine. Again, you could also play something like Red Mercedes here in the slot. That will also work out just fine. Just make sure that Vildred is slower than your attack buffer, but also way faster than the rest of your primary damage dealers. There's a reason why I have him kind of built the way he is. This is kind of how I use him as a speed imprint for RTA. So, yeah, pretty much any Vildred build will probably work here. Any AoE DPS will work here. Anyways, now that you know the explanation, let's jump in to an actual run.
Do not fear death. Seizing victory is seizing the future. I won't fall.
This is my victory. Do you have nothing left to say? Let's end this and see who falls.
Turn on. Rest. For all.
And last but certainly not least is going to be Caides. And I think this is the coolest team of the entire bunch because the core unit is going to be a ram. So, a ram, you could take your standard PvP a ram, whatever you end up playing this character on, and just slap her on Doctor's Bag and it's probably good. As long as she's not base speed, you're fine. I don't care if she's like 300 speed. I don't care if she's 200 speed. I don't care if she's 160 speed. Any speed you put on a ram is going to be fine for this. The main reason we're playing a ram is because Caides' first action is a guaranteed AoE attack, which will trigger her passive Coastal Discipline and the non-attack skill portion of it, Warming Up. Warming Up will give your entire team vigor. And since Warming Up is a non-attack skill, it will proc Doctor's Bag, which dispels one debuff from all allies. The first debuff that you will always get hit with is going to be Restrict. So Doctor's Bag will remove Restrict, which will allow a ram to use her S3 to reset your primary damage dealer throughout the fight, and therefore easily pick off the boss. So, you play a ram to get rid of Restrict. The vigor that she provides makes it so that Celestial Kick from Ken is a guaranteed defense break. Because of the exclusive equipment, we get a dual attack from our primary damage dealer, so that's going to be a lot of damage. After that, you will have your 2 DPS unload all of their kits, all of their damage into the Caides, and if it for some reason isn't dead, a ram will come lapping back around and use her skill 3 to reset the cooldowns of one of these characters. And if you did everything right, it doesn't matter which character a ram resets, whether that's Straze, Ken, or Watcher Shuri in this case, they will all still kill. This is the primary reason that we built Red Ken to have some amount of damage, so that way no matter who gets reset, we are guaranteed to kill the Caides. Now that you know how the team works though, let's see it in action.
Yeah. Now then, shall I give it a go?
How dare you? The disrespect! Ow. Eat this!
It's my turn. There is no avoiding your fate. Disappear!
I won't miss.
Hold your position!
You're safe now.
Destiny cannot escape my sword.
Okay, and there you have it. That is all 5 otherworldly hunts in a nutshell. This is how I'm clearing everything. Let me know down in the comment section if you have any questions, or feel free to suggest other quick farming teams for your fellow E7 players. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your week, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later now.